just going to talk about the incident that happened, was it yesterday, with protesters going into a church in Minneapolis. And we're going to check out Hassan Piker. I keep putting him on because I agree with his takes on this issue, because, I'm a centrist. And also I get threats from all these haters, especially about the using the proposed anti-speech hate laws. I get people saying, "Oh, you're promoting Hassan Piker. I'm going to have you prosecuted when those laws come in." I'm paraphrasing, but that's what they say. So, let's get on.
It causes people to think, well, this is normal. This is just how America operates, right? You've said it for years, Hassan. You've said America operates this way for years. So what's different here? So it's all a matter of how people react to it. If Europeans actually react to it with anger when they realize that they have been played a fool for all this time and that they have no sovereignty, and they revolt, then it's good. And they revolt and they develop sovereignty, then it's a good thing, right? But if they actually say, no, we're cucks, we've been cucks for 100 years at this point, who cares? It's the same old business as usual, as long as we get a crumb of the imperial super profits, as long as our capitalists get a crumb of the imperial super profits, then we're fine with it. Then it's not good. So it's entirely dependent on how people react to it. Meanwhile, here's what Mark Carney is doing, the great chairman. To make Canada a leader in electric vehicle manufacturing, we're working to attract significant new joint venture Chinese investments. And as our domestic sector builds up, we'll allow a limited number of EVs from China into the Canadian market, less than 50,000 next year, providing more affordable, energy-efficient options for Canadians. This person is so stupid. Don't worry, made in China is often seen as an insult to buyers because many people dislike communism, especially China, and associated with cheap, low-quality products. If only you knew anything. China is doing this in exchange. Chinese importers buy 60,000 tons of Canadian canola after Carney's visit last week, sources. Yeah, they're selling seed oil.
That's just a bit of a preamble why he's talking about that. He's about to talk about the Minneapolis thing. But this is the reaction to the latest news of Canada signing a deal with China, and the BYD EVs, electric vehicles. BYD is short for Build Your Dream. It's the Chinese electric vehicles that are far superior. Let me just see here. So this is what these cars look like. And we've got a few here in Australia. We've got a lot here in Australia because we're not quite fully cucked. But yeah, I see them around. They're pretty reliable apparently. So yeah, these are European examples. But Tesla is a bucket of shit, and the world knows it. There is no American ingenuity. There's only American ingenuity and corruption. That's it, and using its military force against the world. So all that, I'm an eccentric billionaire Tony Stark shtick is not working anymore, because turns out Elon Musk is coming to face with reality. And that is America is no longer the sole superpower. It's China. China China has learned the colonial game of how companies come in and exploit them. So they did it. So they did it to America and the West, and they flipped it on them. And the Americans and the Europeans are just waking up now. They're just waking up now. But you got to understand, China invented paper. China invented gunpowder and rockets, in ancient times. If it wasn't for China, we'd all be fucking scratching scribblings into dried calf skin and sheepskin. We'd be writing manuscripts on vellum. That's the reality. So, of course, they got colonized by the European powers, and now they've learned their lesson, and they've completely fucking outstripped the West. So the West is now dependent on them, and they reversed Uno'd, pardon me, the West. So, yeah. That's the reality. And it's only going to get, it's only going to be more, my words, I'm losing my words, but it's only going to increase the disparity between the economic growth of basically China through its trade, because basically America is pushing the world, whether they like it or not, into the arms of China. And so there's going to be less reliance on the US dollar because of the pedophile president. That's facts. And it's great to see, because fuck America.
To Canada in exchange for like the best EVs that are so cheap, and maybe even a firm commitment for further trade and even development. Who knows? China is now a part of the One Belt, One Road initiative. Okay. I'm going to buy a Xiaomi U7 as soon as they get like Christian Love. That's why this is going to be the new.
All right, let's get to the main event. Now, where is it here?
Thank you.
So the DOJ is currently investigating after anti-ICE activists stormed a church.
So this is the big meta in Murderapolis today. Conservatives are looking for something to grab onto so they could shift the attention away from, ICE being a fucking threatening Gestapo force on U.S. soil with a insurrection act imminent, or at least a threat of the insurrection act. So they decided that this is going to be the new thing. They're subbing out the chip for this thing, okay? Apparently, from what I understand, there were anti-ICE protesters protesting a pastor that is an ICE official, which, by the way, I don't even understand how that works. How the fuck can you be a pastor and also work for ICE at the same time? How is that even possible?
That's a very good point. Just the hypocrisy alone is something, but how can you be expect to tend to your flock and also go, during the week, go out and terrorize the population and brutalize people and shoot people in the fucking face, and then rock up on Sunday and be all sanctimonious and an absolute hypocrite. I mean, the absolute gall of people like that. It just the shamelessness. I mean, and Christ turned out the moneylenders of the temple, did he not? And he called out the hypocrites, did he not? So these protesters, like I say, the protesters are the true Christians. And, they mostly they've turned away from being a Christian or wanting to be a Christian because of the hypocrites, of the right-wing, hateful, hypocritical Nazi scum in the MAGA church and in all organised religion, save for the Coptic Church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which are the oldest churches, and along with, of course, the churches in Gaza and Nazareth. Those are the oldest churches founded by the actual disciples. These people, they never quote Christ's words. Never do they ever quote Christ's words. They're always quoting the Old Testament. Well, the Old Testament isn't there. It isn't there to as a testament of laws. It's the point of it is to show, hey, all these old prophets were all pointing the way to the Christ. That's the point of it. It's saying the New Testament, don't worry about the Old Testament. That's the old stuff. That's outmoded now. Christ's message has supplanted that. You don't go living by the Torah as a fucking Christian. That's why we drink and we eat pork. And we have shellfish. It's just ridiculous. And I cherry pick the Bible, but I cherry pick Christ's words, like judge not lest you be judged. And comfort this, the journeyman, the sojourner. That's the whole point. The best thing to do to these hypocritical losers, these Nazi scum dressed up in sheep's clothing, is to call them out, because they're such pontificating assholes that what they do is that they sit there in judgment of everybody and they spread hate and they pick on the poor and the marginalised. The very thing that Christ came and commanded us not to do. And to do the opposite, actually. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? And I'm so sick of it. They take the Lord's name in vain. And yet, they do all this fucking fake bullshit and posturing. Like I saw the clip of that woman with their arm raised and pretending to sort of, what a load of fucking performative shit. These people are fucking fake, liars and hypocrites. These are the churches that back in the day, they took money to lock up, to help take away Indigenous people and put them in residential schools in the US. Here we call them missions. But that's what they did. And they're all the performative losers and hypocrites. And, I'm so happy that protesters did this thing, because they are the true church. They are the true Holy Mother Church. The protesters, not these fake, performative, hypocritical Nazi buffoons. They are the very people that Christ warned us about. And these people, these protesters, are doing the Lord's work. Literally.
But anyway, yeah, they did a protest inside of a church, and every conservative is like, this is a violation of the FACE Act. Don Lemon, you're going to hell and prison. Before you go to hell, you're going to prison. So, Leviticus 19:33, Leviticus 14:88. No hate like Christian love, that's why. Anyway, let's take a look.
St. Paul over a pastor's alleged ties to ICE, or they thought he had ties to ICE.
Now, this comes as 1,500 soldiers are now on standby, ready to deploy amid growing protests in the state.
Just so uncalled for, the church incident. Matt Finn is live in Minneapolis with the latest.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you pontificating, hypocritical fucking bitch.
Hey, Matt.
Hi, Ainsley. Those protesters walked into that church service, started screaming chants for Renee Good, who is the woman who was shot by ICE earlier this month, getting into churchgoers' faces, all because they...
And she is a true Christian. That lady, she is a martyr for the faith. And, these hypocrites will face their judgment.
Say one of the pastors works for ICE.
You are a fake pastor! You are a fake pastor! Fight back!
The demonstration organizer told Don Lemon, a former news anchor who was following the protesters, that it was a clandestine operation meant to disrupt a, quote, key location. One video appears to show a protester inside the church.
Look at this smarmy prick. Look at this fucking asshole. Trying to be indignant. But he got called out. Said, blessed are the peacemakers. Not blessed are the Gestapo stormtroopers terrorizing people.
Calling the churchgoers comfortable white...
This is it. Look at this fucking bitch. Fuck, I hate these people. I fucking hate these fake Christians. These people are not Christians. They are performative arsehole sociopaths. That's what they are. They're the ones that sit there in judgment and go, judge gay people and judge, black and brown people. This bitch is mostly the one calling cops because her Amazon delivery guy is black and she feels assaulted. That's the reality. That's what these scum are, and they've hijacked the whole Christian faith. And it's so disgusting, and the shamelessness of their hypocrisy too. Why aren't they standing with the actual immigrants? Why aren't they standing with the downtrodden, the persecuted? No, they're the ones calling 911. And the pastor's working there, and they want to go in and live in their own little self-righteous, hypocritical bubble, and scoff. These people are fucking demons.
People and shouting, "You have your nice jewelry. What do you do to stand with your Somali community?" Now, so far, we have not seen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz or Minneapolis Mayor.
Okay, so here is what they were doing. A pastor here is also the director of the field office for ICE. So someone teaching people about God is out here overseeing ICE agents.
That's unbelievable. Look at this Nazi cunt. Dressed as, pretending to be a Christian. And to not only to be just a Christian, but a faith leader. What a fucking dog. What a fucking... I'm sorry to dogs. Dogs are honest and sweet. And they have unconditional love. But look at this. You can see the hate in his heart. He knows he has to check himself. But you see he wants to attack them. Because he's the... he's the put upon person. He's the one, who's the victim, actually.
How dare you? Murderapolis goes hard, dude.
David Easterwood is a pastor here. He is also the director of the field office for ICE in St. Paul. So someone who claims to worship God, teaching people in this church about God, is out there overseeing ICE agents. Think about what we've experienced. The murder of Renee Good at the hands of ICE. A Venezuelan national shot by ICE. A 6-month-old baby who almost died as a result of ICE unleashing military-grade weapons on our community. How dare you claim to be a pastor of God and you are involved in evil in our community?
Do you think Jesus would be understanding?
We're about worship.
These folks.
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them?
No, church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday, and we were interrupted by this group of protesters. Yeah. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
Good. Turn out the moneylenders from the temple.
Bro, this guy's literally an Onion meme. Conservatives say Renee Good was brainwashed by Bible into loving thy neighbor.
The Onion. That is exactly right. It is the protesters. It is the downtrodden. It is the dejected who is the Holy Mother Church of Christ. It's not the organized religions. They've all turned their back and given into power and the Lord of this world. And you can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell me that this fake, sudden Catholic convert, get the fuck out of here, is suddenly, the arbiter. And you're not going to tell me that he didn't, through the power of the devil, kill Pope Francis. In my head canon, that's what happened. He killed Pope Francis.
Yeah, what do you mean? That's what he's preaching. This person responds, "They sure don't look like money changers, you bellend."
Just on this, look at how the kids, their future leftists, if they stay, they're going to be calling out their parents because they're going to get to that rebellious age, the teenage age, and throw this all back in their face. Good. Guess what, kids? Your parents are hypocritical Nazis. You're the bad guys. Your parents are the fucking bad guys.
Also, by Bellend, I assume this person is not even American. Yet another one of these things. Dude, this is my new meta, okay? I am seeking out like a fucking...
This is a good point, actually. All the people you see on Twitter, they're all these right-wing, lonely, divorced dad, or incel fucking loser Nazi dudes from Europe and Australia. There are a lot of Australians. There are a lot of good old racist Australians who are quietly pretending to be, you know, a normal guy, but they're actually outright Nazis. And Australia won't face that, of course. But, it's coming to a head, I reckon.
Heat-seeking missile. Every single Euroid MAGA LARPer, okay? I swear to God, there are so many of them. There are so many. I think Americans are more mad, by and large, about ICE presence in their fucking neighborhoods than these goddamn Euroid MAGA LARPers, okay? I'm sorry. I don't care if this account says it's actually stationed in the United States of America. If you say Bellend, you're not American, okay? Their pastor is the regional director of ICE. Find a new church or admit you're not Christian. Well, they're not. They're not Christian. No American has ever said Bellend. No American. That's not a term we use.
Of entitlement. I think people who are, in...
So Don Lemon was there, by the way, my revolutionary goat, Don Lemon. And apparently, he's catching a lot of heat, including from Nicki Minaj. Conservatives are saying Don Lemon violated the FACE Act and he must go to prison.
So people have been asking me about responding to Nicki Minaj's unhinged, homophobic tweet about me. I usually don't respond to this stuff. Let me just say that.
What the fuck did that tweet say? Don cocksucking Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up. Barbs? Y'all seeing this, Barbs? Are there any Barbs at least? Are there any Barbs that remain? I feel like they're on life support.
Barbs is the name that of the Nicki Minaj fans, for anyone who doesn't know.
It's over, right? It's done. They pulled the plug, I suspect. One of my greatest locks of the century, by the way. Breaking, DOJ announced intention to charge Don Lemon under the Ku Klux Klan Act. The KKK Act makes it illegal to threaten, hurt, or intimidate people to prevent them from exercising their God-given rights. Oh, this is Harmeet Dillon. She's the civil rights... she's the Department of Justice's civil rights assistant attorney general or something. I forget. But she's on the civil rights division. Wonderful people in the Department of Justice, by the way.
Has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred? Was there a use of the wires or the mails in preparing for this event? Did anyone cross state lines?
By the way, this is going to be the plans for all of the regime's enemies. This is what they're going to do. And it's only going to get worse before if it ever gets better. This is their plan. She's saying it out loud. They're going to use all these laws and weaponize them against their enemies. That's the plan. You live in a Nazi regime. I live in the vassal state of the Nazi regime. And, I'm surrounded by Nazi cucks.
Lines to do this. All of those are potential predicates for additional federal charges.
Armin, I've just pulled up the Klan Act because this is the first time that I've heard this mentioned. This is the
Department of Justice's civil rights attorney is using the Klan Act against a black man on MLK Day. What the fuck, dude? That's the DOJ civil rights attorney, chat. Also, another testament to how our fascists are DEI fascism. We have DEI fascism in this country. Wow. The Punjabi community does not claim her. Yeah, I mean, she's a strong Punjabi woman. What do you mean? She's girl bossing. Yeah, satire's fucking dead, dude. It is. What do you say to this? I mean, what can you say to this?
Tweet about me. I usually don't respond to this stuff, but let me just say this. Nicki Minaj, stop talking about shit for which you know nothing about. This is out of your depth, by the way, and you are a homophobic bigot. You don't care about African Americans, and you're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules. And the other thing is that your family members, you have one family member who is reportedly a sex offender, the other family member, your husband or whatever, a sex offender is your husband, and one of them is reportedly a pedophile. And you have nerve to talk
He's
about
right, he's cooking.
Me and what you think that
Don
I
Lemon
do.
is cooking. I can't believe I'm saying this. Oh, what's up, Kat?
Yeah. And we're going to leave it there. And that's the latest. Don Lemon. I'm now a fan of Don Lemon. And yeah, fuck Nicki Minaj. Fuck Nazi Christians. And hype the like button and subscribe if you want to.